What's up, guys? We're gonna brobeatz. Today I'm gonna be showing you guys a formula you can use to make top melodies. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned posts on something, you do so, because it does it a lot. Let's hop right into it. So BPM 150, you know, you can go kind of lower, higher, it doesn't really matter. So for the scale, we will be using a minor. So I'm gonna just default to my F sharp or F minor. Okay, so we got that. And now we can go ahead and get started. All right, so we can just go ahead and start with our little piano. All right, so before we actually get started with the top melody, we need some chords and stuff. So we're gonna be starting with our bass, and this is the piano that I'm using, but any instrument will work, you know, like a piano or something like that. So for this, we can just go bare bones and just make kind of like a generic little pattern. So we can start on our root, and then we can kind of use this, like we could just kind of trickle it down. So we just go the one below it and then the one below it. Right, and this is a very common kind of melody for this. And then we could drag this over, and then let's make a chord from this so it's in harmony. So basically skip that note, place here. Okay, and then we can just copy this twice. So that's the bass, simple as that. Let's move on to actually making the chords. All right, so let's go ahead and throw down some chords, and this should be easy. If you're not sure how to make chords yourself, every DAW you have should have like some system where you can like put stamps in. So you can come up here to stamps. You can just kind of place in a minor wherever you want, but I'm gonna do it from scratch. So basically, let's pull these down an octave actually. So we could take this, right, copy it and pull it up an octave. Okay, and then from here, just build out the minor chords. So we skip this note, place, skip this note, place, and then we have a minor chord. And just do the same thing for the rest of these, right? So pull this up, skip that note, place, skip that note, place. Over here, pull up an octave, skip that note, place, skip that note, place. Right, if you want to, you can add more notes. All right, pretty simple. So these last ones, we could literally just copy this one over. If you want this to be different on this side, what you could do is, let's see, you could maybe remove a note, right? And then maybe, well, let's bring that back. Let's move that up. And then you could, let's take this F, pull this over. And for this one, all right, you could do this. All right, pull these up an octave, right? But it'll kind of be the same. So you could go backwards instead of forward. So skip this note, place, skip that note, place, and then now you have some potential notes to use. So what I'm gonna do is pull those up 2 octaves and pull this one up 1 octave. And then we could just stretch this out since it's the same note. And then now you just have some little cool chords. And then we could add some other notes in here because it's kind of like stale in here. So maybe add like this D sharp and then go here. Okay, and then let's copy this over. And then for variation, I don't know, let's just delete this. All right, so that is the chords. So now we can kind of move on to actually making our melody. Okay, so now I'm gonna actually show you the formula to make these pain or ghetto gospel melodies or whatever people want to call them. It's pretty easy to set up, at least. And you could go into like codes and numbers and stuff, but I think this will be a lot easier for at least people that are starting out. So basically, you just start on your root note. You should know that if you're in an A, B, F, it doesn't matter, just start on that root note. So we're in F, start here. And then what you want to do is take this note and basically move it back 1 within the scale. So don't move it back 1 like this, move it within the scale. So we're going to land on this D sharp. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is build a range by copying it and pulling it up an octave. Okay, so we're just pulling it up an octave. And this is your range for like those pain melodies or those top melodies for them. Okay, now the next step, I'm gonna just change the color real quick. What you want to do is basically fill in every note within the scale except the one before the D sharp. So You know, just fill everything in here, and we won't fill in the C sharp. Okay, and that goes for this as well down here. Okay, and this is pretty much the formula, right, or the blueprint you want to use to make these melodies, right? You can go up and down. Hold on, wait. No, you can go up, you can flam it, and it'll always sound good if you use these notes. All right, so that is the formula, and we're gonna use this to actually make a melody. All right, so I pulled in the formula, and it's red over here just so you can kind of know which notes I'm gonna be using. Pretty much you can just kind of float up and down here, right? And you really can't mess up with this. You can kind of do a lot of crazy stuff. So what I'm gonna do first is just trying to get something to kind of melt into the chords. So use this F. Let's kind of jump up here and start doing some crazy stuff. Let's do like a little flam. All right, and that's pretty much it for that. So I'm gonna do the second part. I'm gonna probably speed it up a lot more if I didn't do the first part. I'm pretty sure I'll speed it up a little bit, but this part I'll speed up a lot on the second part. So that's pretty much how you use it. You can just play around and just literally, if you just want to do something like this. It'll sound good no matter what. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get over here and do the second part or the variation. So okay, so now we're back, and this is what I did for the second half. Nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna play the whole thing all together. Okay, so pretty much what I'm gonna do off screen is kind of edit the velocities and strum some of the notes so it just sounds a little bit better, because it sounds real stale right now. And pretty much I'm gonna just go up to tools and just kind of randomize it and just tweak it to my liking. And the reason I'm just doing it off screen is because it's gonna take way too long to do this real time. So yeah. Okay, so we got our melody all done, and pretty much now we're just gonna layer, and I'm gonna just copy these to these instruments, and I'll just show you the sound. So this is the sound. This is a custom bank, obviously. Copy this here, same thing, just a custom bank from the same bank. And then I'm gonna just play it and just kind of move things up and down an octave. Okay, I like that. I think that's good. So I think what we can do is move on to our bass and everything. All right, so at this point, I'm pretty much just making a beat just for the outro, because I already kind of showed you what I wanted. So this is the bass I'm using, okay? And I just copied the bass from our melody and pasted it in here. I didn't really think that was needed to show, but yeah, we could just kind of mess around with this and see what sounds better. I'm gonna turn this up. And we can just do something like that. Kind of play around with this end part. I don't really like my synth basses to be super stale. And do something like this. Do a little wiggle right there. See what that sounds like. And honestly, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even have the piano in. It's just kind of my personal style, but I'll probably put it back in for like an outro. So that's the bass, and we can kind of use this to actually do our 808 too. All right, so now we're gonna do our 808 and then our drums. So I'm just copy this over here, and then what do I press? Control A and then Shift D to make everything kind of smaller. And now we can kind of mess around with this 808, and I'm gonna turn this down. Okay, I think that's good enough just for an outro. So now we can go ahead and throw in our drum. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and do our drums. Now I'm gonna just do something simple. Now, if there's anything that I do that's different or out of the ordinary, I will slow down and show you, but for the most part, I might speed it up just a little bit. And I do make my drums like this, so. All right, so this is what I have so far. And usually with this style, the drums are very like stop and go-ish. They don't really do too much. So with this rim, I figured I would do something a little different. We can kind of just throw in a little quick rhythm. Matter of fact, we can just copy this. We can do something a little different with this. Just for like since we don't really have a defined hi-hat pattern, we can make a cool little pattern with this. So let's pull these up to our F. And then with this velocity, just kind of do something like that. Just a cool little rhythm, something different, you know. All right, and those are pretty much the drums. So now I'm just kind of play. I kind of want to see what this sounds like. Yeah, I kind of like it bare bones. So this is the whole thing all together real quick. Well, actually, I'm gonna throw like a little EQ on real quick, and then we can come back and play it. All right, so real quick, just some post-processing I did, nothing crazy. Put my kick in 808 in mono. And then for my instruments here, I just EQ'd them just so they kind of mixed better, because I wasn't liking the piano before because it was kind of making everything muddy. So I just turned these down and kind of just took all the bass out and just let the piano shine a bit more. And then for the master, soft clipper, threshold all the way to the left. And then I just put this EQ on and just kind of boosted the frequencies I wanted. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm just kind of play this. All right, and that's gonna be pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.